I've never had a more important presentation in my life, and I am scared and I'm shaking right now because I've had some of the most awesome clients in my 35 years of doing this. I've been able to present to House members, to senators, even to presidents of the United States. Nothing is as important as what I do now. My client is democracy. And if you haven't realized what's going on out there, democracy is failing. We have forgotten how to talk to each other. We've forgotten how to listen to each other. We've forgotten how to love each other. And I watch this as a pollster, and it just gives me a big, fat headache because we're so angry. I've never gotten an email from a focus group participant in my life other than to yell at me. This was very special. The more that they learned about this initiative, the more positive they got, the more hopeful they got. We have a higher degree of people who believe that this country's headed in the wrong direction than ever before. We have a higher degree of people who believe that this is the most disunified that we have been ever before. And most importantly, since you all believe in the American dream, we have more parents who believe their kids are going to have a worse life than they did than ever before. And so much of that is tied to politics. Now, here's the good news. The more local you get to them, the closer the government gets, the more faith they have. And in fact, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican, Independent, or Democrat. This place that you're meeting in right now has failed them, but you haven't. And my favorite slide, and take a picture of this, governors come in first in your ability to relate to people. They have more faith, trust, and confidence in governors than any other position. It's close, but you're number one. I've done 2,000 surveys in my life. I've done over 1,000 focus groups. You've probably seen them on TV. I've never been more frightened in my life. And I'm trying to figure out how to present it to show my respect for you and to basically beg you that you're the answer. We know what the problem is, and you're the answer. Let me show you how much worse it's actually gotten. Half of Americans won't state their point of view because they're afraid of being punished. Not just looked down upon, but actually punished. And more than a third have had this happen multiple times. Look at below that number. 2/3 of young people have stopped using their freedom of speech. That's a failure. Do you realize how awful our universities are right now? I'm looking around, and the governor, I know what's going on in Pennsylvania, at the University of Pennsylvania, up at Harvard, at Stanford. Schools all across the country, the kids are afraid. And it seems like nothing's happening. It seems like no one is protecting them. And this is the number that shows you how bad it's gotten. But it's not just there. 1/3 have cut somebody off. I'm going to ask you guys, you know, there's no cameras back there. I'm going to ask you, how many of you, be honest with me now, how many of you have stopped talking to someone because you found their politics offensive? Raise your hands. I appreciate the honesty. Look at that number. It's awful. And it's happening in our own families. 43% of the public stop talking to a parent, a mother, a child. Imagine is the most powerful word in the English language. If you ask people to imagine democracy at its best, they would support this initiative 5-1, 6-1. A United States is going to be taken by 3 or 4 of you who realize what a powerful statement that is. To reunite the United States of America is exactly what your constituents are looking for. You'll see that in a moment. It's not just about listening, it's listening with an open mind. That phrase really does matter. The fact that you haven't made up your minds, the fact that you're listening. I want to understand when you use that language. I want to understand. Explain it. It gives you the right to oppose. It gives you the right to disagree. The fact that you're trying to understand allows you to say, no, we have a different point of view. That's how you disagree better. A couple more from up here. It's fact-based, not evidence-based. How many of you in this room are lawyers? Raise your hands. If you're a lawyer, raise your hands. Get the hell out. By the way, the guy who laughs the loudest is the biggest lawyer of the room. And I think this one's really important. It isn't about civility. And it's not even about kindness. It's about respect and open-mindedness. So let me go to I'm going to show you a couple of ads. Governor Scott, this one you're going to recognize. The blue line are Democrats, the red line are Republicans, the yellow line are independents. The higher the lines climb, the more favorable the response. We took all of your messages, there were 16 of them, and these are the ones that did best, and I'll show you why.
When you face a disagreement, you can bring your points up. But you really should be listening to what are their points, what are their fears, why do they feel the way they do, and I think there's a way to get through that. Maybe learn something yourself. Maybe they will learn from you if you're calm and give a good argument instead of an emotional argument. If you still get to a point where you can't agree, that's okay. It's okay not to agree on every issue. It's okay not to win every issue. And hopefully you have that respect, mutual respect, so you can have those conversations. It's never too late to be a better person. It's never too late to be kind.
Stephen, why was that message so powerful to you? Off the charts.
The term disagree better resonated with me because it is something that is so missing today. Because most people seem to want to stay in a perpetual state of outrage, as if they enjoy being there. Always angry, always looking for a reason to cancel or argue with somebody. And that message in that ad shows that it's okay to listen. It's okay to say, hey, we can agree to disagree. We can still go have a drink. We can still be friends. You know, I think about back when Ronald Reagan was president and the speaker was Tip O'Neill. They got along and things got done. That doesn't happen anymore.
Jen, why was that message off the charts for you?
Empathy. I think our country could use with a big dose of empathy. And that's basically what he was describing, was just having more compassion for other people's points of views. I don't understand why we can't disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with your neighbor. My neighbors, my next door neighbors, are the most wonderful people and have the exact opposite viewpoints of me.
So rather than empathy, it's understanding. And I want to give you a challenge. I can elect any one of you. I can re-elect any one of you, and you can give a no negative pledge, and I know how to do it.
Nothing great really comes out of negativity. So you got to take a breath, take a pause, kind of have the responsibility of ourselves to be better listeners. And just say, okay, I'm not here to necessarily agree with this other person, but let's respect each other as individuals and make sure we understand they have a point of view and a voice. Who knows what their background is? Who knows why they have that opinion? Let's hear it.
Daniel, please go ahead.
I just think that part of being a great leader and a great communicator, one of the most important things is being a great listener. And I think everybody's so busy yelling their point of view that nobody's listening to what everybody has to say. And I think that's one of the things that's trying to bring it together is, you know, the foundation of this nation was raised on disagreement, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, but we have to come to some kind of an agreement where we can both get something that we want.
Shannon, why was that so powerful to you?
It was so powerful to me because I had to have a surgery to have a tumor removed from my neck. And I lost my voice for a couple of months. And when that happens, you are forced to listen. And I've tried to talk to other people about you can't be listening if you're already forming an argument or replying to someone before they finish speaking.
It's your state.
It's a matter of respect, I think he said.
That's beautiful. And we appreciate your participation. And I particularly appreciate the sacrifice you're making to be here. I've never had someone struggle in a focus group. He was really hurting. And I kept offering, I said, I'll pay you double. He didn't want to go. He wanted to sit and give his point of view because it mattered to him that much that he struggled in how he spoke. I've never had these responses before. When I said to you, this is more important to me than any other presentation, It's because they told me this is more important than anything they'd ever done. And they didn't care whether they were Republican or Democrat. In